Well, happy holidays, Legionnaires. It is your boy, D-Wizzle. Thank you as always for tuning back to the channel. This is episode 11 of the D-Wizzle podcast. And we are continuing on through the journey through the DC Extended Universe, Worlds of DC, DC Cinematic Universe, whatever you want to call it. We're reviewing all the DC films in the universe leading up to Aquaman. We've already talked about Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, Suicide Squad, and Wonder Woman. So if you guys have not watched them, I will leave links in the description below so you guys can check them out. Today, we're going to be talking about the big culmination of DC, the huge team-up movie they've been building up for 3 or 4 years. We'll be talking about Justice League.
Okay, I got something to say. I got to get this out. PS1 graphics. Awful dialogue.
Okay, save it. Okay. So, joining with me today is fellow YouTuber Shannon Jeffrey.
Hello.
We have her sister, Tara.
Hi. Hey. No. Hey, it's me, Tara. Stop.
And we have Outrageous Plays X, fellow YouTuber.
Hi.
Yo.
So if you can hear from my enthusiasm, I'm really excited to talk about this movie. No, I'm not. I'm not ready to talk about this, bro. I'm not ready to talk about this. Oh, man. Oh, bro. I was dreading watching this. I was dreading watching this, getting ready for this review. If you can tell from my thoughts already, I'm not even ready. There's so much I want to talk about.
Hey, Dwayne, I'm rich.
Oh man.
Oh my.
I don't know how this is gonna go, but we had to get to it for Aquaman, and I've been waiting to actually let out on this movie for a while, so unleash. So, with that being said,
oh sweet Jesus,
are you guys ready for this?
Yeah.
Look at Tara's face.
Sorry, I'm going at the internet. Yes.
Okay. Alright then. We're not gonna waste any more time, even though I like to waste more time.
Awful dialogue.
Save it. Okay.
No story. No.
So, we'll get back to you on our thoughts on Justice League after this cool trailer.
I had a dream. It was the end of the world.
Invasion.
I think it's something more. Something darker.
We're asking people we don't know to risk their lives.
Strong man is strongest alone. You ever heard that? That's not a saying. That's the opposite of what the saying is. Divided, we are not enough. The world needs Superman. I made him a promise. This is why I brought you together.
Ride ain't over yet.
My man.
As a bat signal, that's your... Oh, sorry. That's your signal. That means we have to go now.
Yeah, that's what that means.
It's so cool.
It's funny that the tagline of this movie is all in, but you know it's not all in. 70% of the footage that we've seen from this trailer is not in this movie. Anyway, Justice League.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding. We're going to get into that.
Oh, God.
Justice League. So, this movie was released November 17th, 2017. This is the 5th film in the DC universe, and this is the immediate follow-up of Wonder Woman that came out the same year. And it's directed by Zack Snyder, or so we thought. So, you guys already know I'm a huge DC fan, and Justice League, I love the Justice League. Outside of X-Men and Fantastic Four, Justice League is my favorite superhero team of all time. I love them. I read most of their comic books. I grew up watching the Justice League animated series, Justice League Unlimited, Superman the animated series, Batman the animated series. You guys know that. I grew up on all these characters. I just love the team dynamic with the Justice League. It's very iconic in my eyes. And fun fact, actually, this movie was released the same day that the animated series was released, so that was a nice little touch there. But so yeah, I was waiting like years for a Justice League movie to be released. I thought it would never happen, and ever since the first Avengers came out, it gave us hope that something like this could happen. But even then, I'm just like, I just didn't know if we were ever going to get one. But thank God Zack Snyder came around and being like, yes, we're going to do it. So I was very excited for this movie. You know, guys know I love Man of Steel. I thought he did excellent with Man of Steel. And Batman v Superman, regardless of its problems, I did enjoy the movie, and I did enjoy the direction that they did with Superman specifically. And I did love Batman, and I was loved Wonder Woman, and I was interested in Cyborg, Aquaman, and Flash. So I was very excited. This was finally, Justice League was my most anticipated film of 2017. Yes, over the Last Jedi. Justice League was my most anticipated film because I just was ready to see a Justice League movie directed by Zack Snyder. That's like a freaking wet dream to me. However, we all know the controversy going on with DC. Like, nobody likes the movies. They didn't like Man of Steel. They hated Batman v Superman. They hated Suicide Squad. Wonder Woman was the only positively critically received movie in the universe. And I guess even that wouldn't really give complete hope to Justice League. So Warner Brothers was just doing this huge course correction to, you know, be more optimistic and hopeful and fun and just more colorful, and in a way be more aligned with Wonder Woman, since that was the movie that, you know, it seemed to work for people. So with this Justice League, the production and behind the scenes stuff for this movie, it was I'll be honest, it was a shit show. It was just going through so much controversy, just a bunch of critics and bloggers, and just keep talking about just trouble behind the scenes, or they keep doing these stupid articles about why Justice League's not going to work and why Wonder Woman is the only great thing about it. And talking about how Ben Affleck still sucks, and how they miscasted Cyborg and Flash and Aquaman. And then keep in mind, this is like the peak of the Arrowverse with the Arrow show and the Flash TV show. So people were immediately against Ezra Miller being casted as Flash, and then with Ray Fisher as Cyborg. Ray Fisher is like a theater actor, so he's never been in a movie before. So this is his first big budget movie, and people were against Cyborg being in the movie because, you know, nobody wanted Cyborg in the Justice League. They're going the more New 52 route where Cyborg was in the Justice League, but nobody wanted that. They wanted somebody like Hawkgirl or Martian Manhunter or whatever. I was open to it. I was okay because I love Cyborg, and, you know, just to see a live action Cyborg, that's enough for me. And then they casted Jason Momoa as Aquaman like a long time ago with Batman v Superman. I thought that was a weird choice too, because, I mean, I like Jason Momoa, but I don't think he was a strong actor, and I don't feel like he fit the role of Aquaman at the time. But I was interested to see what they were all going to do. And fun fact, this the story of Justice League and the whole overall movie structure got changed like 3 times. Originally, Zack was going to have Justice League be 2 parts, and immediately the studio was like, no, you just want to have one movie, one standalone movie in case, the first part didn't work, which is like, okay, I understand that aspect because part 1 and part 2s don't always work, so it's like you just want this one standalone movie. But at the same time, I knew there was like a big story that Zack was trying to give with Man of Steel, BVS, and Justice League, so I wouldn't have mind if it was 2 parts. But they wanted to do one standalone movie, that was fine. And then there was a bunch of course correction being like, we're going to be a little bit more optimistic, and we're not going to be as dark and broody and mooding. So Snyder was abiding to that, I guess. So they even had like press like visit the set and being like, oh, this seems to be a little bit more fun and whatever, which I didn't care about at all. Why are you appeasing to the critics that don't even care about Snyder? Like, come on now. So I was just really worried. Oh, one other thing, they casted J.K. Simmons as Commissioner Gordon, and I thought, oh, that's really good casting. I'm excited to see what he does as Gordon, even though I hear he didn't really have a whole lot to do in the movie because there's a lot more going on, but it's just, I'm glad that they just have him in the universe. I think that's a good casting as Commissioner Gordon. And then they casted Syrian Hines as Steppenwolf. For those of you who are Game of Thrones fans, he was in Game of Thrones. I haven't watched the show, but apparently he's a really good actor, so I was interested to see. I guess they're going to do motion capture with him since he's supposed to be a big CGI monster. But so I was interested to see that. They're going to bring Jesse Eisenberg back as Lex Luthor. Yay. And I was looking forward to that, because it's not going to be the same Lex Luthor we see in BVS. He's going to progress more as a character, and we're going to see him be more of the Lex that we know. The same thing they said about Ben Affleck's Batman and Henry Cavill's Superman. They said in this movie that they're going to resemble more of what Batman and Superman, what people love about them. And then they also casted Joe Manganiello as Deathstroke, and that was interesting. I like Joe Manganiello, but for him as Deathstroke, I didn't know how to feel. But once again, I was thinking maybe it'll be a surprise, like Will Smith as Deadshot. You never know. There was like that little footage that they showed with Deathstroke before the movie came out that Ben Affleck released with him in the suit, and he looked awesome. So I'm like, I'm all for it. And then he was possibly going to be in the standalone Batman film that Ben Affleck was initially supposed to direct, but not anymore. So I saw the first San Diego Comic-Con footage, and I was pretty excited. It was just a rough footage that they showed, so it wasn't like fully finished yet. From what I'm seeing, it looks like it's being a little bit more optimistic, a little bit more fun. The characters seemed a bit interesting from what we saw, like the interactions. And then they released the first official trailer, and I was so excited. I loved it. It was really cool. I don't know. It just got me really pumped. Just to get a full picture of what Justice League was going to be, I just was really excited. That first trailer got me really pumped. And then the San Diego oh, wait, I'm not going to talk about that yet, because we're actually going to talk about, sadly, Zack wasn't able to fully finish the movie because of his daughter that committed suicide, and he had to lead the production when he was almost finished with it. So he couldn't finish the project through, and so they decided to get Joss Whedon to do the rest of the movie and do some reshoots. And I was really worried, because even though I was a fan of Joss Whedon at the time, I didn't feel like his style would fit with Zack's. But they kept promising us that he was going to abide to the style and tone that Zack set. So they were very adamant on that. And then the reshoots were just to add a little bit more character moments and I guess a little bit more levity to help balance things out. So I'm like, okay, I'll hold you to that, because they kept saying that. They kept telling us that it's just minor stuff and he's just going to finish what Zack already laid out. Fine. So we saw the San Diego Comic-Con trailer that was like 4 minutes long, I think. And it once again got me excited, and I started to see some more of the Whedonisms, I guess, but it wasn't like too apparent. But I do notice, okay, they changed some stuff from Zack's original stuff, which is okay. It didn't seem too jarring. And then you had that And then more trouble started happening. Danny Elfman replaced Junkie XL to do the score. Junkie XL did the score with Hans Zimmer and Batman v Superman, but they decided to get Danny Elfman, and I'm like, what? And then the runtime, they only had it be 2 hours. Oh, I'm sorry, no, 1 hour and 59 minutes. And I'm like, wait, why is it so short? It should be like 2.5, 2:45. What's going on right now? And I was just starting to get kind of apprehensive. And then the final trailer they released, where it looked completely different than the previous 2 trailers, and I'm like, you got the red sky and the lightning and all the colors, all the saturation started to get really bright for some reason, and I'm just like, what is going on right now? So it was just a whirlwind of emotions going on. I'm just like, what is happening? Is Zach approving all of this? Is he like overlooking what Josh is doing? I'm like, I don't know. I was just really worried, but I was going to give it the benefit of the doubt. And maybe they learned their lesson, seeing how Wonder Woman was good and it was a director-driven movie, and they saw how people responded to BVS and Suicide Squad after they chopped up those movies. So hopefully they're not going to do the exact same thing. So that was the whole ad-lib about that. So we're going to do something differently for this podcast. I'm not going to start because I want to leave all my thoughts towards the end. I want to let everyone else say their piece first before I get into what I have to say about this movie, because I promise you, once I get started, I will not be stopped. I have a lot to say, but for the sake of not interrupting people, I'm going to let everyone speak their piece, and then I'm going to go to my thoughts. So, Outrageous, what did you think about Justice League? What did you think about Justice League?
I only saw the movie once, so I don't know. For real.
What?
Yeah, I only saw the movie once.
What did you think about it the one time you saw it?
I thought it sucked. That's really it. Not terrible. I really don't know what to say. It really sucked.
I mean, you were talking about, the what was it, the dialogue?
You talking about the dialogue and the effects and whatever.
They
Raise your head up, man. Raise your head up, man.
They didn't have everybody in it. It just sucked. That's really it for me.
Okay, well, we'll get into details, I guess. Tara.
And that's it. Roll credits.
That's it. Roll credits. That's it.
Make sure you subscribe.
Wish that was it. Okay, Tara, what did you think about Justice League?
Okay, well, honestly, I know that they're 2 separate universes, Marvel and DC, but this was Avengers 2.
This is Avengers 1.
No, Avengers 2 with Age of Ultron.
Yeah, because Avengers 1 had better effects.
Well, it also had Joss Whedon.
Steppenwolf was basically
Avengers
Ultron.
2 was Joss Whedon
and
also.
Even in the ending when they go to, what was it, Moscow or something?
Yeah.
And they're fighting Steppenwolf, it's just like in Avengers where they go to that foreign country and they're fighting Ultron and they destroy the whole place and people are fleeing for their lives. And it's just, basically the whole entire thing was just Avengers 2 for me. And like there's some good
Steppenwolf was
things.
Ultron. Wait a minute.
I hated there's some good things, like I was okay with the casting. I actually kind of liked Flash, even though like they made him a little bit too awkward and geeky, and I'm a huge Flash fan. Flash is my favorite superhero besides Batman. But I hated the color scheme and everything. It just looked too cartoony to me, versus like when you look at the classic DC movies, it just doesn't look right.
Okay, Shannon, what do you think about Justice League?
I just never think Josh should make DC films. In just my opinion. I just don't think he has that style anymore. Like,
No.
people think of him as Buffy, like the guy who made Buffy, but like, it was too light, even Buffy would be too light for DC, so it's like, I feel like he can't make something as dark as DC, you know what I mean?
He's almost about to do Batgirl. Thank God he's not anymore.
I know, he's not, yeah, thank God. But I don't know, it's just, thinking about it, like, I feel like you can tell that Joss was in charge of post in a way with like the color correction. Because what Tara was saying, the color was very cartoony, something that Zach would definitely not do. But to be honest, like I was telling everybody here, I kind of forgot that it was happening. Especially with like all of like the movies that are coming out at that time with Marvel, what was anticipated, stuff like that. I just skipped over Justice League in my head. Like I wasn't even really paying attention to the trailer. I think it just got drowned out in noise to me. I didn't see it in theaters, and I wasn't planning on seeing it in theaters. But yeah, I don't know. There's just like there's so little to say on this.
It's really sad. There's so little to say about it. I mean,
Justice League.
Yeah.
It was kind of a movie that's like, let's just move on. You know, like this is a movie that happened. Let's keep going in the franchise. You know, I feel like it was a stepping stone in a way, kind of like Age of Ultron was to me. It was to introduce Scarlet Witch in a way, and it was kind of forgettable in the whole Marvel thing. It wasn't totally amazing to me. Just in my opinion. I mean, the way I heard everybody else talking about Marvel and DC and stuff like that, I feel like 10 years from now, people are just going to be like, oh yeah, Justice League, you know?
Okay.
What?
I mean, no, I don't have a problem with what you're saying. It's just, I don't know. It's just sad that it's just.
I know. I'm never gonna. I mean, you know me. I'm never gonna be like, this was the worst movie ever, unless it was like, you know, Sharknado or like Birdemic or like something just totally stupid. Like, you know, I'm still gonna appreciate things because I know that it's like hard to make a film.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just remember watching it and thinking maybe this isn't for my, you know, persona. Like maybe this isn't for me. Like I'm not the target audience in a way. You know what I mean? Like that's how I felt. But then I'm thinking, wait, I am the target audience. I'm a DC Marvel fan. You know, like I love superheroes, but I don't know. I just felt off about it.
Okay. Well, I'll go down the list of notes I put down and have you guys speak how you feel about it. Then I'll go last. Alright, I guess we'll start with the story. What do you guys think about the overall story? How does it compare with Man of Steel and Batman v Superman?
Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman both had a much better story, I think.
Do you feel
and
like...
that's even with, like, Batman vs. Superman. It had plot holes and stuff.
Do you feel like this is a natural conclusion to those previous films?
No.
Not really.
I think Steppenwolf is kind of random. Like, I didn't know anything about these boxes, and maybe I should have, but if I didn't, then they didn't do a very good job of showing me the boxes that I needed to know about. And I don't know. Like,
And the whole
like
Superman coming back to life thing was just not as satisfying as it should have been.
I actually liked that part, that scene.
I want it to be more satisfying, just because I like Superman, and I think it would have been super cool. I think it just wasn't as satisfying as it could have been. What did you think about it? I want to hear what you thought about it.
Oh, you'll get to my thoughts about it.
But I want to hear about it now.
Yeah.
Can I mention the Superman coming back to life part?
No,
Yeah,
not
go
yet,
ahead.
not yet.
Oh, well, okay.
Talk about the story, outrageous. What you think?
But that's part of the story.
No, outrageous. Yeah,
It
outrageous.
really wasn't even a story. I mean, all
Just
it was.
Steppenwolf.
Exactly. Oh, Steppenwolf. We're supposed to know who he is. Oh, Amazon's cool. Appeal to a freaking audience, yeah. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well,
I mean, I really can't say anything else about it for real.
how sad is it that in a Justice League movie, we don't have that much to say about it. Like, it's Justice League, for goodness sake. Okay.
Because I don't really want to say anything bad.
I mean, if that's generally how you feel, say it. I mean, that's just...
I know. They can come back from this, though. You know? I feel like you just gotta get a director and a decent storyline for the next film.
I guess. Ray just keeps leaving the room. That's how invested
Mike's
he is.
Gone. Yeah. Mike.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm just figuring something out with the
Okay.
Anyway.
All right. Well, let's talk about the. We did touch on the cinematography and the color grading. What did you guys think about that?
It's too colorful.
Yes,
Maybe.
I just, like, it didn't really bother me until they got to, like, the last fight scene. Because, like, I don't know. It's just supposed to be an impactful scene. And then the sky is all purple and red. It seemed more like a pleasant sunset to me. And it just bothered me.
The Lion King or something.
Like, this family is under attack by those flying demon insect thingies. I forget what they're called.
Parademons.
I'm not good with names if you haven't noticed.
Yeah.
But, just like, I don't know. They're under attack by those things. And it's a beautiful sky outside. And maybe it's supposed to look like scary because it's really deep red and everything. But the only emotion it got from me was annoyed. Because it just didn't fit.
If you watch the first trailer, if you watch the first trailer, the whole scene is at night, and it went from that to this. I'm like,
well, when you think of DC, when you see a DC battle that just took place, I see night with rubble and rain, and that's it. Kind of hard to see, but you can still see rain and rubble.
So I guess that's what people were sick of, so they were just like, okay, let's turn up the brightness a little bit, let's have them fight in the daytime and have some color in the sky.
But that was totally, I feel like
I'm not tired of
Joss.
I'm not tired of it
that
either.
a lot.
That's why I like DC and versus Marvel, because Marvel is too happy for me, and DC is just like I don't know. Marvel's the comedic break that you need from DC, and because DC's so dark. Because it's dark, I don't expect that many colors.
Yeah.
I like them both because they work differently. I don't want Marvel getting too far into DC personas, and I same thing for DC.
Don't want to do too much Marvel. Okay. The score. This is a big thing for me. So we love the score in Man of Steel. What did you guys feel about the score in BVS?
It wasn't anything special.
It was Hans Zimmer.
Yeah, Hans Zimmer and Junkie XL.
Yeah,
It wasn't his best. I'm not gonna
because
it's not
Hans Zimmer.
totally memorable.
Okay, well for me, I really liked the score in Batman v Superman. I like that they had different themes for everyone. They made a theme for Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman. Superman, and even Superman already had used a theme from Man of Steel. Lex Luthor even had a theme, but I felt like it was more engaging in those movies. Like you feel the weight of the scenes because of how epic the music was sounding. So to get Danny Elfman, I like Danny Elfman. I like his stuff with the old Batman movies and the Spider-Man movies and the Avengers. So I'm like, that's fine. But I'm like, this score I didn't remember.
Yeah, exactly. It's not memorable.
That's what I
at
said.
all.
It's not memorable, but like what you were saying, I do like how it, in what was it, Batman vs Superman, where they had different theme songs in a way for like different superheroes.
Yeah.
Some people actually were like, "Oh, that was so cheesy." I remember people talking about that, especially with Wonder Woman. People were like, "That's so cheesy," but I remember sitting and like in the theater and watching Batman vs Superman, and when she popped up, I was like, "Oh, so cool!" Like I was like, "She's so cool."
Yes.
But I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. I think it's very split. Yeah.
I'll talk about the score later, but I have a lot more to say. Alright, so let's get into characters, I guess. Let's start with Aquaman. What do you guys think about Aquaman?
So this first scene, when Bruce Wayne goes to meet him, I was not impressed, but I was actually confused because the Aquaman that I know from the comics is blonde.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know, just the
Not
one that
very-
they have in Justice League and Aquaman is gray eyes and long dark hair, and it just doesn't look right to me at all. Like, he did a fine job, he's a good actor, but the look that they chose for him wasn't right.
Yeah, and that's actually something, and I know that people are like, well, if they did the same thing as the comics, it would be cheesy, but that's
Yeah.
actually something that I like about, like, you know, comic reenactments, stuff like that, seeing the characters and being like, that's him, you know?
But would cheesy Aquaman work in this dark DC universe?
Sure, why not?
He doesn't have to be cheesy if he's blonde.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess.
I mean, think of a blonde actor who could play Aquaman. I'll wait.
I could probably find one.
We can think of someone. Even if they just dyed their hair.
Ryan Gosling.
Oh no!
You're not helping my
I
case.
was kidding.
Oh, Freddie Prinze Jr.
Oh my god.
I mean,
joking.
honestly,
As
Ryan Gosling
Aquaman?
does
No,
look like-
absolutely not.
Ryan Gosling does look like Aquaman, but he wouldn't be good as an actor.
It'd be kind of weird.
Okay, so here's the
Tom
thing
Hardy.
about. Stop with Tom
my
Hardy!
God.
Will you stop
I
with
love
Tom
Tom
Hardy? He's Venom. Deal with it.
Jensen Ackles.
Anyway,
Yes! Oh my
Who?
god! Jensen Ackles
who's
as
Jensen
Aquaman.
Ackles? Who's Jensen
From
Ackles?
Supernatural?
Oh, I don't watch Supernatural.
Alexander Skarsgård.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
I'm looking at an article, that's why I'm listing these off. But that was
Um,
only 3 out of 7 that they gave me.
Well, here's the thing about Aquaman, though. I do get with the blonde hair. It is kind of odd. He just has blonde highlights now. But as far as the beard and the long hair, there are versions of him in the comic books where he has a goatee and long hair. So it's not like it's completely inaccurate. Could his hair have been lighter? Sure, but I don't mind it. And I don't want to see Jason Momoa with blonde hair. I don't want that at all. That would be so weird. So I was okay with how he looks. And I like the tattoos. I thought it was pretty cool tattoos. But I thought the other Atlanteans would have tattoos because I thought that was like an Atlantean thing, but he's the only one with tattoos. And also the gray eyes. He's the only one with gray eyes. Why doesn't Mara have gray eyes? And
Gray eyes are just creepy.
I guess
Golly,
it's
that's a
like
thing,
there's
though.
some fish that have eyes like that, so I guess they're trying to do aesthetically like that.
But he's not a fish.
I mean, I guess to actually look underwater,
He doesn't
he has
have a
eyes like
tail.
that. I don't know. Just look underwater or whatever. But I don't know. I thought he looked cool. But okay, you don't have anything to say outrageous about Aquaman? Nothing. He has nothing to say.
Mike is over this movie.
He's done. He don't want to talk about it. I feel you.
That bad.
Yeah,
but
it's
okay.
not the worst thing I've ever seen. But all right, Ray Fisher, a cyborg. What you think?
I thought he did an okay job, but he's incredibly quiet. Like, obviously Teen Titans these days is just, like, really cartoonish, and it's supposed to be for kids that are, like, 2 feet tall.
Booyah and waffles!
But aren't they
But it's
making
just-
like a Teen Titans like?
Yes, but that's not going to be anything like the cartoon is now.
Right.
But
Yeah, we all
I'm
want it.
hoping that if they make a cyborg movie, that they show him a little bit more adjusted to how he is now. Because obviously he's a little depressed because he just got his life back. He lost a bunch of limbs and stuff. His dad just created him into a monster, in his opinion. But, like, if he has his own movie, I'm not going to enjoy a whole movie where it's just him being all depressed like that.
I don't think he's gonna be like that. If he starts to lighten up.
Yeah, I feel like that's with all heroes though. They get to know themselves and they're like, you
Right.
know what, I'm okay.
character development.
Whole movie. He didn't have any character development.
I disagree,
The
but
last line that he had, booyah.
because of fan service. That wasn't Zach, though.
Exactly.
That wasn't Zach, though. We'll get to that in a minute. Nothing to say about Cyborg either, outrageous. Oh my, he don't even want to talk. I feel you, man. I feel you, bro. Alright, Ezra Miller's The Flash.
Okay, I love The Flash, like I said. And, sometimes I can't get past the CW Flash Grant Gustin, even though I know they're completely different. But, he's supposed to be a little bit younger in this movie. He's supposed to be more like college age, right?
Yes.
And so I can see why he'd be a little bit awkward and everything, but they made him a little too awkward. He seemed like Tom Holland as Superman to me. He was a little hyper and like a 15-year-old. But I did like...
He's Spider-Man, not Superman.
What?
You
Tom
said
Holland.
Superman.
Superman?
Yeah,
Super-
I
Spider-Man.
was like, imagine
Sorry.
that. Tom
I'm sorry.
Holland
No,
is Superman.
Superman.
I'm sorry.
Superboy.
But like, Ezra Miller still did a pretty good job. And I thought that the choice for his dad, they actually look like a father-son
Right.
couple, but...
Fun fact, Henry Allen is Dr. Manhattan in Watchmen, so that was a nice touch. Zach getting familiar actors.
But also for Henry Allen, they didn't put enough in for him.
No.
Like, my brother was watching the movie with me, and he's like, why is his dad in jail? Like, they don't have... For people that don't know enough about the comics, they'd be completely lost.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which is another thing, they could have added that information to make that movie longer, because like you said, it's only 2 hours. Which is
sorry,
a
an
long
hour and
average-
59 minutes
But
with credits.
I mean, that's a decent size for like the average movie, but like if you want a big old movie, you need like 2.5 hours.
I don't expect, like, a whole, intense flashback moment for the Flash, for
Right.
Barry.
Yeah.
But, like, he could at least explain to, like, someone in the Justice League why his dad is in jail or something like that.
Right. Also, fun fact with Cyborg's dad going back, he's in Terminator 2, and he created Skynet, so it's funny that he creates Cyborg in this movie. He creates killer machines. But, funny. But yeah, I definitely agree with Henry Allen. I wish there was more, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Wonder Woman.
Queen.
Okay, I actually kind of liked her, but, I don't know. She acts very much like the boss, which I guess Batman's kind of the boss, because he put the team together.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that, I guess.
I mean, he does help get the team. She does help get the
Yeah.
team together with Batman. So.
Yeah, he kind of did most of the work, though. He went and found Barry. He went all the way to Atlantis or whatever to find Aquaman.
Norwegian,
I know, it's
whatever.
not Atlantis.
Norway. I'm sorry. You know what I meant. I'm sorry.
He
Don't
did
make me.
most of the work, so he's kind of the leader. But like, I don't have a problem with her being the leader. I don't know. I feel like her fighting could have been better, because obviously Steppenwolf knows who she is. She's an Amazon, because he fought with the Amazon, or not with the Amazons, but against the Amazons. But I don't know. It just, like, as soon as he saw her, he was like, oh, an Amazon, she's mine. And he's like, I'm gonna kill you.
My axe is still slick with the blood of your sisters.
Yeah. And then they throw in her theme song, which I hate, but
Barely, just a little. And
I kind of like it. It's growing on me.
Spy Kids.
All right. I know. It's,
I don't know. I like the theme. I like it. Okay.
maybe they could have used different instruments. I don't know. I don't
Well, it's
know.
Danny Elfman, so he only uses like wind instruments and violins and
Lex-
strings.
Lex Luthor's theme is like, if you know the video game, Papers, Please, it's like that. If anyone listening to this knows what that is.
Comment down below if you know who Tara's talking about.
Please.
Yes. Okay. All right. Batman.
Oh.
Yeah. What do you think about Batman?
Well, it's kind of the same as Batman versus Superman. He's a great Bruce Wayne, but him as... Well, I actually thought it was kind of funny sometimes to see him in the suit, because he's obviously supposed to be an older Batman.
Right.
And, like, the suit kind of fits him funny. Like, it squeezes his face a little bit. But then, like, they had the scene where they had to, like, go fight Superman. And, and I was laughing to my brother because I was like, they all showed up right away. Aquaman, The Flash, everyone else. They all showed up right away. But then Batman wasn't there yet. And 5 minutes later, Batman finally shows up. And it's kind of funny because he's old, he can't fly or anything, he just has to run.
But they didn't go that far.
I know,
They were in the park.
Funny. That's why it's funny. He's supposed to be old. He's too old for it. His arm gets dislocated. It's hilarious.
I mean, I like that.
He's got a cane in the
Yeah.
next scene. Just kidding.
Yeah, that's probably the only like character moments I liked from him in this movie is that he is an older Batman, and the movie's showing that he's getting more wary, and it's like he's more vulnerable. He has to relocate his shoulder. He got dropped by Superman. He gets attacked by parademons and stuff. So it's like this is stuff that he hasn't dealt with before. So that aspect I thought was interesting.
Of the two old superheroes from SpongeBob.
Mermaid Man and Particle Boy.
Yes,
Evil.
it's gonna be Batman in like 20 years. Oh my god.
Batman Beyond. Let's do it. Anyway, okay. We're not getting to Superman right now. Do that after Steppenwolf and Parademons. What do you guys think about that?
I thought the parademons were dumb. I thought they were ugly.
Yeah, they're supposed to be.
I know, but they're still kind of ugly. And
They were
people
unnecessarily
were calling them
ugly.
insects, which I guess they kind of look like insects, but
Yeah.
it's confusing because they're obviously just supposed to be demons because Steppenwolf is basically the devil. But I don't know. Steppenwolf too, I actually turned to my dad and I was like, for a second, I saw Steppenwolf's horns and I thought I was watching Ragnarok. It just keeps confusing me. This entire movie, keeps confusing me with the Avengers and other Marvel movies.
Mm-hmm.
And it bothers me.
Okay. Well, the Parademons, they're pretty much minions, so there's not really much to them. I mean, they're just cannon fodder to show how powerful the heroes are, just like the Chitauri in the Avengers.
We
But
could compare those two, Avengers and Justice League for days. We'll be here for hours.
oh
if we
boy,
keep comparing
oh
these
my
stuff.
gosh! But yeah, the only thing that's different between the Chitauri and the Parademons is that they're possible that humans can form into parademons, which they barely go into in the movie. So that's great. The mother boxes, I mean, there's not much to say about the mother boxes. They're just they're going to be used to terraform the earth into apocalypse and be the herald of a certain character that's not in this movie, which I'll get to in a minute.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If DC were to come out with Justice League before they even made Avengers, would we be praising this movie?
Yes.
That's the thing.
I believe it, because people forget that when the Dark Knight came out, Dark Knight Rises or something like that around that time, and the Avengers were coming out, people thought that Avengers was going to fail, and it sucked. But then that came out, and it changed the course of comic book movies forever. So I do think that if Justice League came out before the Avengers, it would be a completely different conversation.
Interesting. Very fascinating.
Okay, but yeah, I thought the mother box was cool. Apparently, they're kind of inconsistent with Cyborg being a mother box, or did the mother box just create Cyborg? It's not consistent because he has a separate mother box at home. So it's like, did it just split out metal parts, or did it actually become one with him? It wasn't even consistent with that footage that we saw in BVS, where it freaking was just morphing into his body. But then in this movie, Silas already is building him with the robot without the mother box. I'm like, what? Wait a minute. What? Okay, now let's get into Superman.
Tara, you got this. Go for it.
Okay. When he came back from the dead, obviously, I thought it was normal for him to not remember who he was and everything. But then they brought in Batman's, where's the big guns? He said, Alfred, I need the big gun. And who shows up?
Lois Lane!
Friend Lois Lane. And it was basically, once again, a Martha situation from Batman versus Superman. All of a sudden, he sees his girlfriend, and all the fighting stops. He realizes who he is again, which makes sense, yes, but it's still too easy.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the movie, he just seemed really awkward, and
there's a reason, but go ahead.
I know, but like, he just didn't even look like himself to me for some reason. Like, his nose looked different. Everything about him looked different, which is weird. I know that he didn't get a nose job or anything for the movie.
No.
Just like, he looked weird, and I don't know why.
Oh, I'll tell you why.
Like, I still love Superman.
I will.
I still love
I
Superman.
wish it was the lighting.
But it's just weird. I don't know.
But you, Shannon.
Once again, I would have imagined, I don't know, after watching Batman vs. Superman, I already, like, anticipated him coming back to life and, like, what that would be like, and it would be surprise, and all the characters, like, I got you, I'm alive, you know, or, like, I don't know, it's like Jesus resurrecting, you know, it's like, it's amazing, and, like, that's what I thought it was gonna be like, just totally amazing, like, yeah, now Justice League is together and it's one, and when you thought all hope was lost because we were missing that one piece, Superman comes in, you know, or like something like that. But like, it was not as satisfying as I pictured in my head. But I don't know. Once again, yeah, I noticed the whole Martha thing again. I think in comedies they do that. Am I right? Where it's like someone gets a concussion and they're like that for a couple days or a couple episodes, and then finally this one thing makes them remember, like someone left a sock on the kitchen floor or something, and then that makes them remember everything, you know? And it's funny because it's a comedy and it's funny, but like when you use that to make a very thematic and poetic thing, it gets cheesy. And once again, Martha. But yeah. Terry, you good?
Well, I can add
Tara's
to it, but only if we're
yourself.
not going to talk about the Superman resurrection yet.
That's what we were talking
you can
about.
you can talk about the resurrection. I'll add more later.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, I really liked that scene, honestly, because, I mean, not because of this, but it wasn't a Superman, like, victory or anything. It was more the Flash. It was more like showing what the Flash can do. And, like I said, I love the Flash. And, I know a lot about him and, like, his abilities, and just, like, seeing him, like, someone said, we need a bunch of energy to, like, get this box up and running again. It was corrupted or something like that. And, Barry goes, well, I can make a lightning bolt. And I was like, yes, you can! Go do it! It was just really exciting for me.
Tara's
and,
in
like,
the corner of the room.
Once again, they use slow motion, but that makes complete sense with Barry because he's running really fast, but everything else is slow.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So, just like, so I loved that part, and just the anticipation of, like, is he gonna make it in time for, like, before the box hits the water or whatever liquid that was.
Right.
And it's like, I know he will because he's the Flash and he's fast enough to do it, but, like, the slow motion is like, oh my gosh, is he gonna make it? And I don't know. I love
just
that scene.
want to say one thing about Barry. When they make a standalone Flash movie, I don't think they can abuse the use of time and slow motion.
Oh, they're definitely gonna.
Just
Oh, they're going
because.
to.
But no. But you can't abuse it though in that situation. You can use it so many times where it's like literally 50% of the movie is in slow motion. But like you can if you want. But like you can't consider that abuse because that's his superpower.
Yeah.
He can
But,
slow
like,
things down himself. You know
for
what I mean?
people like me who love The Flash and they watch the CW TV show, they're already used to all of that slow motion because that's what they use in the CW show too. It's like 50% of it is in slow motion, and like sometimes it gets annoying, but then you get used to it, and it's just like what they kind of need to do, or else when he's in the Speed Force, no one's gonna notice.
Right. So yeah, I did like the stuff when he's in slow motion, like when they're fighting parademons in the Gotham Harbor. He's spinning around the walls and helping Diana get the sword. So that was really cool. That good use of slow motion. That was obviously a sack shot.
Yeah.
But
Mike, what did you think of Superman
Oh
and
my
the
gosh.
resurrection? I really want to hear what you think about it.
It was honestly. Wasn't he already alive by the end of Batman v Superman?
oh, the dirt rising.
The dirt rising.
No,
was
exactly. That was stupid. He was technically, like, at the end of that, they're trying to show that he is still alive, but then in
They have
Justice
to resurrect him. I mean, that makes no sense.
I
that
think
can
it
make
was
sense
just that
too.
there was energy present.
That
No,
could
they,
be.
you know, the dirt was rising. I mean,
That's it's
Yeah.
a good. I mean, yeah, it's a good theory that the energy is like there, so it like that could lead possibility for him to be resurrected. But I also think it's because the movie changed 3 times,
Yeah.
so it's like so his origin would have been way different the first time go around than it is now.
They probably honestly completely forgot about that too.
Yeah.
As films tend to forget about stuff. Like,
Yeah.
So
It's funny because these movies were made within a year of each other.
yeah. But different directors, different minds, lack of communication, and this is what happened.
And studio meddling.
Yeah. So then, Mike, did you think, were you on my side or Tara's side? Like, what did you like it, or did you, like, think it was underwhelming or not
was underwhelming.
as satisfying?
honestly, the best part of this movie, I mean, the whole Superman stuff is overwhelming. The best part of this movie was Flash. I agree. Flash is my favorite DC character.
Yeah.
That scene when he was running there, Superman and Superman turned his head, I said, okay.
That scene was
That
actually
was so
great.
cool.
That was great.
But then I told
Yeah.
myself, there's no way Superman is touching this man. Flash is
Oh no!
quicker.
As soon as he
And
makes
he-
contact, his head will explode. So,
No, I know.
like, yeah.
And he could not touch Flash at all. And I was like, yeah, finally something accurate.
Yes,
Right,
and then,
right,
like,
right.
My dad, like, I was watching that, I was like, oh my gosh, as his head was turning, because he was in the Speed Force. And I
Right.
said to my dad, how is he in the Speed Force?
He-
And my dad goes, well, they actually had a race in the comic books. And I was like, really? And then at the end of the movie, they had a race.
Yeah.
Flash won. Flash won.
They
the race.
did-
Show it.
No, I'm talking about in the comics. Flash.
Supergirl and the Flash in Supergirl's TV show, they had a race.
Don't remind
Yeah.
me.
That pissed me off.
That
pissed me
Supergirl's
off.
a terrible TV show, so.
Terrible.
Okay, the Flash isn't that great either, but.
Yeah. I don't like the Arrowverse. Arrowverse can suck a dick. I don't really care.
I,
It really can.
Tara
I
loves
think-
Arrow,
no,
Flash.
I don't like Arrow. They
Oh,
ruined
Flash
it
and
with
Legends.
Arrow's the
Felicity.
worst-
They
well,
ruined
actually,
it
no,
with
Supergirl's
Felicity.
Have you seen-
Supergirl's worse.
Have you seen Legends of Tomorrow?
No, I've heard it's
That's the
good.
best
Flash.
show.
But that's a Netflix show, isn't it? No.
No,
No.
that's from
It's
CW.
Flash is the best one, then Legends of Tomorrow, then all the other ones could go blow themselves in the corner, I believe.
Yep.
I can make another allusion I did to, like I had to Avengers, if I wanted to.
Oh.
But it was you have Spider-Man and Iron Man, and then you have the Flash and Batman.
Yeah, it's similar
Yeah.
stuff there.
I'm
Rich
just-
man and then
Yeah.
teenage boy.
Of course.
Well, he's a college kid.
Yeah, but
I'm
then,
ready
like,
for a
you have
Flash
the
movie,
scene
though.
where
Flashpoint, they're making.
you have the scene
They
where
don't make Flashpoint first.
Flash gets into the car with Batman, and he goes, "What are your superpowers again?" And he goes, "I'm rich." And I was like, "Iron Man,
Yeah.
this is terrible. This is another Avengers."
No, I kind of liked that though because it makes sense.
Yeah,
you
it
know,
does.
but
It was funny. I laughed at it, but
Yeah.
still.
Because it's one of those things that has been debated, like, publicly, you know, in real life, where it's like, Batman's just a guy, you know, and, like, other people are like, no,
So is Iron
he's,
Man.
you know, yeah.
I think Justice League was going to, even if the movie was great, I think people were going to compare this to Avengers regardless because it's a team up movie. So it's like of the opposite comic book studio. So it's
But don't make it like the Avengers. The point is how you differ from the Avengers.
Yeah, right.
But anyway.
All right.
But what do I know? I'm just your target audience,
You're just a Marvel fan.
Hey, I'll appreciate a good DC movie.
Right.
Whenever.
If we like it, we like it.
I'm ready for it, yeah.
You know? Okay, so I know you guys don't like Lois Lane, but what do you guys think of Lois Lane? It's probably she's like a non-factor in this movie, which pissed me off. Same thing with Martha. I'm like, they didn't even need to be in this movie, though they have to be in this movie because it's like they're concluding the arc of Superman. But I forgot they were in the film.
Yeah.
Clark.
Yeah.
I'll talk about.
Yeah, I'm sick of that.
Yeah, I'll talk about that stuff later. But
Excuse my friends. This is all Lois does. Clark, where the fuck is Clark? I mean, it's really annoying.
yeah,
Yelling in
I
the
never
sky.
liked that in the comic books either, or the animated series.
I thought Lois was even more annoying in this movie, and I don't know if it's because I was just anticipating her coming in and I don't like her, or just because she was more annoying. But especially at the end when they gave her little reading her article that she's writing. She's a terrible writer.
Yeah,
she's
she's
too
literally
dramatic
such
on
a bad
purpose.
writer.
I thought that too as soon as I read that. I thought she really is
Her
writing this
rhetoric
stuff.
is
She makes
so
me
like
cringe.
sensitive. Yeah, she's so emotional, and it's like right, like what we were saying in Man of Steel, where she said like when she was writing about her story, and then she writes, "I know what I saw."
That pissed me
That's
off.
groundbreaking
The heck?
journalism.
I could write
Yeah.
something better as a freshman in high school, as a freaking
I
seventh
would
grader.
get nailed by my professor if I ever did something like that. I would fail the class. It's just, I don't know. It's crazy. So, but like, yeah. But I love Amy. I love her as an actress. She's so like, what was it? Leap Year, Enchanted,
Completely different though.
She would have been a great Mary
Right.
Jane, actually.
Mary Jane.
Yeah.
I do not want to see her as Mary Jane.
She's too old.
She's too
She's
old.
too old.
She's 45.
I don't know what Peter likes.
I think
Peter
she would have
is,
been.
what, 18 now?
That dude is 15.
I think she would have
He
been.
was. 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think she would have been a great Lana Lang because that's what she was playing. She wasn't Lois Lane. That's why she's so emotional. Lana's emotional. She's a redhead just like Lana. Why don't you just have her be Lana and cast somebody else to be Lois Lane or something like that?
It wasn't even just the acting, it's the writing. It's how she's like, why would she, as a writer, do something like that? Why would she write and say this is good journalism? Like, that's not, like, Lois Lane is supposed to be one of the best journalists in Metropolis, right? So it's like, why would someone design her? Golly. But why would someone design her to be that bad?
I think.
Anyone could, you don't need a degree to like understand that that's poor journalism.
I think Amy was. I mean, no, Amy herself was not the problem. Yeah, it's just like it literally felt like Zach casted her to act like Lana Lang being Lois, and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
I'll admit the journalism is not good.
No.
It's not, and it's
Swing and a
laughable.
miss. Yeah.
Though I'll talk about her later. I'll talk about more about her later. But yeah, even Martha, it's like she just lost her son, and you don't see her mourn barely.
Yeah.
It's like The Last Jedi. Nobody mourns about Han Solo. What's going on? He just died.
I did.
I mourned.
Yeah, we did, but-
When he got I was like, ooh,
But
like,
not the
I felt
characters.
it. Oh yeah, that's true.
Except for like Chewie.
Chewie, yeah.
Yeah, Chewie was like, everyone's gonna die.
Everyone's
everyone on
dead.
this planet is dead.
Everyone is gone.
Chewie's like the friend that
You will
everyone
feel
should
my
have.
wrath.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's talk about this.
He's like,
Oh.
that's it.
J.K. Simmons as Commissioner Gordon. What you think?
Okay.
No.
What?
Okay, well, he didn't really have any lines. He barely spoke. He was barely there. And he's a great actor. But him with that mustache, once again, bringing me back into the cartoon, like, it was just too cartoony.
It's exactly like the comic books.
I'm just
exactly like the comic books.
Yeah, I see him as... Yeah,
that's literally from the animated series. He has a thick mustache like that.
But that's how I see him. I'm like,
and
you know,
I commissioner. He's a journalist.
Hang on. Yeah, but like...
What were you reading? What are you talking?
He said James... I can't
His name is
J. Jonah Jameson.
J. Jonah Jameson.
There you go.
Jameson.
I told you I'm terrible with names.
We're not talking about Jameson.
He did. He mentioned.
But the thing is that, well, yeah, but that's how everybody sees him as now, because he was so good as that.
That's literally Gordon.
He nailed it. But yeah, but like if you were to replace Gordon,
I mean, I know you're used to the Dark Knight where they altered his character, but that's literally Gordon from the comic books.
But if you were to replace Gordon, who would you like put in his place? Like, it's really hard to cast Commissioner Gordon. You know what I mean? I think the ones in the Dark Knight series, obviously he's my favorite. Like, I don't think you can get one like better than him. I really thought he did a good job. And then when they added Joseph Gordon-Levitt in the mix in The Dark Knight Rises, I thought like those two worked so well together. But like the thing is that obviously they're gonna have to like recast Gordon in this series. So who would you pick, you know, to replace a really good version of Gordon?
I never thought J.K. Simmons, but that's the casting I never thought I wanted.
I was
from
like, okay.
Gary Oldman, an Oscar-winning man.
J.K. Simmons,
is an Oscar-winning man.
He just doesn't have the same valor.
What do you mean?
What are you talking about?
He's so good.
She's just loving Dark Knight so much she can't take change.
Okay,
she can't accept.
Maybe I'm too like nostalgic and everything, but I love Gary Oldman as.
She loves Christian Bale.
She loves that universe.
No, like I said, he's like I said, Ben Affleck is a perfectly fine Batman, and he's a great old Batman, but like it's just still not as good. This movie wasn't as good.
So
it's too cartoonish for me. Even when he's like standing there with the bat signal on, J.K. Simmons just looks like a cartoon character to me. He doesn't look right. Maybe it's supposed. Maybe that's what they're going for. Maybe it's supposed to all look like comic
well, not
characters.
everything.
It just doesn't look right. I don't like it.
I kind of like it.
I like it. I mean, for this, being how gritty and dark the DC universe is, it's nice that they have some comic book accurate stuff that actually looks good in a grounded universe.
Can we talk about how contradicted Tara is right now? She like totally contradicted.
She contradicts a lot.
Because you were like he looks too much like the comics, but then you were talking about my Aquaman is blonde.
My Aquaman is blonde. I'm like, I don't know what you can't satisfy everyone at the end of the day.
I get it. I feel
like Jeremy Irons. Is that fine?
Yeah.
You said you didn't like him. More inconsistency.
No, he's not as good, but I like him.
Okay.
He's not as good, but I like him. Same with Ben Affleck. He's not as good, but I like him. J.K. Simmons, not as good. I don't like
him. And it's not even fair. It's not even fair because this is one movie. You've seen him in one movie, and you're comparing it to a trilogy. Not fair. Of course Gary Oldman's going to be better than J.K. Simmons because he had 3 movies. J.K. Simmons is in one film and he only had 10 minutes of screen time.
I like when the comic book characters are portrayed by actors who look a lot like the comic book characters.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, now
Spider-Man.
You're contradicting yourself.
What are you talking about?
Because you said, I like it when they look a lot like the comic book characters. And you're ratting on me for saying that I don't like how they casted Aquaman.
No, because I agreed with you. I think Aquaman is blonde. When I think Aquaman, I think blonde, muscular man, like, person. You know? But, like...
Tom Hardy.
I mean, who... Yeah, that's true. But, like, other than Tom Hardy, who could you cast as
Jensen
Aquaman?
Ackles.
I literally just said
Yeah, I
no.
know.
He's
Anyway,
short.
okay,
He's a little
okay,
short.
okay.
Alright.
We're not gonna go detracts because we gotta get through
Oh my
this.
god.
We gotta get
I
through
just thought
this.
of someone, but you guys would hate me.
Say it real quick and move on.
No, I don't want
Okay,
to.
then don't. Don't.
Keep it to yourself.
Keep it to yourself. Get out. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out.
Kenny needs to be ostracized.
You are out of your goddamn mind.
Mike just high-fived me.
Anyway,
It would just be funny. It wouldn't be good.
I don't want it to be funny because people already make fun of him.
I mean, no. I didn't say I wanted that. I just thought it
Didn't he
would.
get beat up by a short black dude?
Who?
Logan Paul.
Oh, KSI?
Yeah,
Oh,
KSI.
yeah.
They
So
tied.
screw that.
Anyways.
Anyway.
KSI won. Anyway.
Yeah, anyway, third act. Third act on fighting Steppenwolf in that end. All that stuff. Superman coming back and helping them and all that whatever. Stopping the mother boxes from terraforming the earth. What did you guys think about that fantastic climax?
It was great. It actually had everything you needed to, but had great character development. I actually knew what was going on during the plot. The characters were amazing. They had great symmetry, great dialogue, man.
Yeah.
The sky was beautiful.
Beautiful sky. Beautiful
And-
red with that lightning, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
All they
Superman
needed
killed
were
it.
I
two
just
ponies
said
to
that.
ride.
Needed some ponies and some rainbows and some
Yeah.
marshmallows.
Don't forget the butterflies.
Oh yeah, don't forget that. And freaking
Some marshmallows.
and freaking Superman with his corny ass lines. I believe in truth, but I'm also a big fan of justice.
I would slap Superman.
You were going to explain to me why. he
Yes,
was
I
like
will.
that.
I will. Oh God, that whole climax was a mess. It was a big CGI video game mess. What the fuck was that?
It was on GameCube. I was watching GameCube.
GameCube had better effects than that movie.
I was watching some on
I'm watching a
Betamax.
cutscene from Injustice, the video game.
VCR.
VCR.
Betamax. Freaking.
Blu-ray had better. Yes. God damn it. And it was so anticlimactic. I didn't feel like that epic. These team is fighting together. This is this big, awesome battle. I didn't feel chills running down my spine like I should be. And it was just over like that.
Steppenwolf was so easy, too.
Yeah, and he was kicking everyone's ass up until that point. I'm like, what? That's it?
Terrible.
You destroy his axe and then it's over.
I'm gonna make you a soundboard for Christmas with the noises you make.
Please do it. I want it.
Alright, so if there isn't anything else you guys to say about it. Anything? Nothing.
No, I can't think of anything.
Okay, well, I'm going to get into my thoughts finally then.
God bless you, Justice League.
I was so excited for
May
this
God
movie.
have mercy on your
I
soul.
forgot it was happening.
I was excited too, Tara. I was so pumped. I'm like, it's gonna bring
This is
DC
amazing.
back. It's gonna have everyone be a believer. It's gonna be send it in the right direction. But no, Justice League is, without a shadow of a doubt, positively, absolutely, undisputedly, 100% mediocre. This is so run-of-the-mill, basic, corporate shill nonsense. And that is not what I came to this movie to see. This feels like 2 episodes of the animated series conjuncted into one and made it a film. And normally I would like that because they did animated series movies like that and I liked it a lot. But this felt so truncated and straightforward and minuscule. The littlest character development, the littlest story stuff, the littlest world building. It was just so ordinary. It's not even a horrible film. It's just so ordinary. And that's the biggest crime in this movie because it's Justice League. This is the biggest team up of DC. And regardless that if people wanted like team up move, like standalone movies before this, they still were building up to something bigger than this. And it's just, I was so underwhelmed. I'll admit, the first time I saw this movie in the theater, I liked it. Though I felt similar to how I felt when I saw Batman v Superman for the first time. I liked some parts of it, but there was some stuff that was off. It was more apparent in this movie. I knew from the get-go when they said this movie was going to be 2 hours, stuff was cut out. Stuff was restructured. It was not going to be the whole vision that Zack set out.
Yeah.
When they got Joss Whedon,
We all knew it was gonna be a Josh show.
Right, but I was hoping that Joss and Warner Brothers would at least have the decency and respect for Zack, who just lost his daughter, to be like, we're going to finish the film the way you wanted to out of respect for you. But no, they took that time to boot him out and do whatever the hell they wanted with this movie.
Mm-hmm.
The blatant disrespect that they're doing to Zack, it's borderline unforgivable. It's like from the get-go they didn't believe in him. Why did you even hire him to do Superman? Why did you even hire him to helm this universe if you just gonna mess his stuff up? Yeah. They're not doing this to Patty Jenkins, and hopefully they're not gonna do it to James Wan. But it's like Zack is like being targeted every time. I know people don't like Zack Snyder, but it's like, if you were gonna commit to this director-driven franchise, commit to it. And I kept saying this from the beginning. All the films are financially successful. They should not give a shit about what the critics say. As much as I hate those Transformers films, all of them made $1 billion. So there was no reason for them to listen to them and be like, we're going to stop making movies or we're going to change what they're doing. Because they make money, regardless of what they're doing. So Warner Brothers should have had the same mindset. Why the hell do you care what the critics say? Okay, so Batman v Superman didn't make $1 billion. Big deal. So what? It made $800 million. That's a success in my eyes. Not every movie makes $800 million, but Batman v Superman did. But because it did make $1 billion with your high ass expectations, that's considered a failure, I guess.
At least he's making Justice League Part 2. Zack.
Is he? I don't even know
I think so, right?
Yeah, he is. He is.
It's gonna be so different. Like, I'm not even gonna.
Are they actually gonna let him do what he's gonna do? Because I doubt it.
I don't know, because, well, here's the thing. I want him to. But for the sake of the franchise, after what we just got through Justice League, do we want him to? You know what I mean?
Well, I would if they let him do what he wants to do. Because the problem is not Zack. It's Warner Brothers. It's like Zack had a vision from start to finish. And it's like they just, from the last minute, had cold feet and was like, we're going to change this up to be more like Wonder Woman and more colorful because Wonder Woman's successful. You shouldn't give a shit what Wonder Woman does. I mean, yes, it's the only critically successful one. But that's not the only successful movie.
Yeah.
And it's like,
that's not the only successful DC movie.
Man of
That's what
Steel,
you,
Dark Knight.
Exactly.
Dark Knight Rises.
All the Batman movies, I mean, come on.
Exactly. And it's like, this movie would have made more than Batman v Superman. It probably would have even reached $1 billion if they just let Zack have his vision, because you still have fans of Snyder coming to see these movies, and now you isolated them because you changed this into a colorful, happy Avengers movie. So you isolated them, and then the critics that you're trying to win over still gave it a mediocre review. It's a 43 on Rotten Tomatoes. So much for that, right?
It's mediocre.
And not only that,
like 70.
huh?
Audience score was like 70.
Right. Well, that's for all the DC movies. But yeah, and not only that, it only made $650 million.
Only?
it only made 650.
That's-
That's still considered a success, but compared to all the other films, it only made more money than Man of Steel. All the other films still made more money. Suicide Squad made more money. Wonder Woman made more money.
Anticipated.
Batman v Superman made more
Not
money.
necessarily that it was better. It was just that it was more anticipated.
I mean, yes, but there shouldn't be an excuse after Wonder Woman. There should be no excuse.
Yeah. I mean, well, once again, it's
Calm
just
down.
once all these
not gonna
films are
calm
being
down.
shoved down your throat, it's like,
Never
how many
tell
more
me.
do you want to see?
Superhero man.
Yeah,
I'm just
tell-
gonna make
yeah.
my concluding point on DC films is just that my recommendation as a student of film is that they don't get so nervous about what Marvel's doing and what their audience wants to see. And that's my advice for not only DC but Warner Brothers. And they should just trust the directors to take a film in a direction of art. And
Right.
that's where you find value in it. And
Right.
what's so frustrating is that people are so nervous about, okay, we have to spend money to make money, and we have to make sure we're spending less than what we're making. And we have to make a lot, and we have to, like, endorse at Comic-Con, and we have to, like, make sure we listen to the audience. And, of course, listen to the audience and take that, you know, as a guideline. But, like, seriously, stop, like, you know, and, like, it was obvious as soon as they released Suicide Squad that they're trying to compete with Marvel. They're trying to be the next, like, big superhero franchise where it's like, you don't need Marvel when you have us. But it's like, just take artistic value. Like, think of The Dark Knight. When you watch The Dark Knight, I really don't think it's competing against any film because it's a really interesting version of a hero film on its own. You know what I mean? So that's what DC just needs to get back to. Not with all the, okay, we have to add a joke because that's what Marvel does, you know, or like those certain things. Just worry about the storyline, worry about character development, worry about color schemes and what it means and what you're trying to tell your audience. Cinematography, editing, you know, like just all of those things should be for artistic purpose. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Not for competing against Marvel.
Right.
Don't worry about Marvel.
Don't worry about
Just why? Yeah, like why do you like making a film? Everyone who works for Warner Brothers, why are you working for Warner Brothers? Is it to make money or is it because you love filmmaking? You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what they need to like think about.
Right.
Or in DC as well. You know, it's
Yeah.
just
So let me
go back to your roots. Go back
Go
to
back
square
to the
one and
roots,
think
man.
about what you're doing.
go back to the roots.
What?
I'm just saying, go back
Just
to.
mumbling right after.
Ugh!
But do you agree?
No, yes, I agree. I kept saying from the beginning, don't worry about what Marvel's doing. You don't have to do
doesn't agree.
team
No,
up.
I said I was joking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you don't have to do the same formula, man. You don't. And I believed in what you were doing, even though you had problems. I believed what you were doing. But yeah, and speaking of budget, do you know the budget for this movie is? Do you know what it is?
100 million.
$300 million.
Oh.
It was at $250 million until the reshoots came around.
Oh my god.
And do you know where most of that budget went to?
The pickups.
Yes, and specifically, Henry Cavill's reshoot mustache. So, fun fact. While they were filming this, Paramount was filming Mission Impossible Fallout, which Henry Cavill is in, and he has a mustache. Paramount would not let him shave the mustache, and Warner Brothers kept saying, we can do these editing tricks so you won't have to completely get rid of it, but we can hide the mustache. But Paramount was like, no, you ain't doing nothing. He don't touch his mustache. So what did they do? They freaking edited out his mustache to do reshoots. That's why he looks like a gremlin.
God.
That's why he looks weird.
I was watching. I was like, why is he so ugly?
That's why
What's
They
happening?
CGI'd his face.
they CGI'd his face.
That's ridiculous.
Oh
But his
my
lines
god.
were still really awkward. And that has nothing to do with CGI.
Well, yes, but I'll get to that in a minute. That's Josh stuff. Josh stuff there. But yeah, that's why he looks weird. And if it were me, I would be like, fuck it, shave his mustache. We'll put a fake one on him, and they won't even know the difference. But they
Yeah.
didn't want to do that. That's why he looks weird.
Sharpie.
Looks more real than his CGI mustache.
Literally, they could have glued. This is Hollywood. They could have done anything.
Yeah.
They must have really loved that mustache.
Yeah, that mustache must have been iconic. I mean, it did look good in the movie, but I'm like, that's not sacrificing another film. Like, come on now.
His nose looked so weird.
His whole face looks like...
That's horrible. Oh my god.
Jesus Christ. But I'll get to him in a minute. Aquaman, like I said, I really liked Aquaman. Jason, he's pretty much playing himself in the movie. He wasn't like the stoic, serious Aquaman that I've known from the comic books and the animated series, but I thought he was still entertaining to watch, though he was the bulk of the comic relief outside of Ezra Miller, but I thought his stuff was really good. We get a tiny, minuscule thing in Atlantis with Mera, like literally a seed, and that's it. And I'm like, why? That's it? And then Mera only has one scene, and then there's a whole thing with the air bubble, which didn't make any goddamn sense, because can't they breathe underwater and talk underwater? Like, that was...
I liked it.
I mean, that
made
was...
sense to me.
Okay. It's just
I don't know
odd
how
to
water
me.
people work.
It's just really odd, and I'm
Water
sure James
person.
Wan will explain it in Aquaman, but... Yeah, it just was, that's the only scene we have of Mera. Now, Amber Heard, I thought was really good as Mera. Even the little scene that I seen her in, I was really scared, but I actually liked her a lot. And excited to see how she does in Aquaman. Are you mocking me?
No.
Hey, you know
I have
the
a
composers,
You
bro.
have a-
You know
you have
the
a point?
composers.
Okay.
So, obviously, this is probably more for like the Aquaman podcast, but if you look at, you said her name's Mira?
Yes.
Okay. She looks awesome in Justice League.
Yep.
And then you look at the posters and the trailers for Aquaman, and she looks like the Little Mermaid and a bottle redhead, and she just looks not
Leia.
good.
Part of the course correction.
Like,
It's part of the... Oh my god, sorry Leia if you're listening to this, but
Leia, you're beautiful.
you're beautiful. But yeah, it's all part of that course correction. They want to be more bright and colorful, so I'm like,
right.
it's, I don't know. Hopefully it'll be okay in the movie.
Eyesore.
It'll be okay, but I'm like,
It'll be straight.
you obviously see a difference. Volko was supposed to be in this movie, but he got cut out.
Who?
William Dafoe's character, who's Aquaman's trainer, was supposed to be in this movie, but was cut out.
Are you talking about Justice League or Aquaman?
William Dafoe and Aquaman was supposed to be in Justice League.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. But his scenes were cut out. And then, let's see. Going on to Cyborg, he's the best character in the movie for me. He's the only, yes, because he's the only character that resembled anything Snyder, really. He had the most emotional weight outside of everyone else.
I agree with you.
Like the opening scene, he got me. And this is Ray Fisher's first movie, and he sold me. I was really captivated by his performance. No, thank you.
Theater actors.
Theater actors, man. They're a gem. They're gems. So Ray Fisher was excellent. However, Cyborg himself, he was supposed to be the heart of the movie, and all of his character development stuff was cut out. Like, his whole accident with his mother got cut out. Him playing football was cut out. Why? When obviously people were already apprehensive about Cyborg, and you barely give him anything to introduce people with? Like, why would you cut that out? It's ridiculous. And then Flash, I liked Ezra Miller's Flash. I thought he was good. I don't like Grant Gustin's Flash. I never liked him.
He's a TV show actor.
So what?
I think he was good.
It's the CW.
I liked
The
him.
Canadian.
Yes, I liked him. I liked him. Yes, he was a little bit awkward, a little too much, but I thought that would fit his character. He reminded me a little bit of Wally West, which I wish they just made him Wally West instead of Barry Allen. But overall, I did like him a lot.
Wally West in the CW is African American.
That's a different version.
And it's a different version.
That's the slowest
weak ass version.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's some racist
Yep.
stuff.
I liked his suit. It looked very injustice-y. I don't know why people are yelling at this suit. I think it's very cool.
The suit on the CW.
Yes, I don't give a
Yeah.
shit.
It gets better.
Yeah, I don't care. But I liked his suit in this movie, and I liked the effects when he's running with the lightning. I thought that was awesome. And people were actually yelling, "Why is his lightning not orange? Why does it fucking matter?"
It's not supposed to be orange.
No, it was orange in the comic books.
No, all blue means is he's faster, because if you know about the comic book lore, the red is the slowest, then it's yellow, then it's blue, and then it's white. So and then black in there.
Yep. Iris West was supposed to be in this movie, but got cut out also, and I was really interested to see what she was going to do. She was black also, and I know people were yelling, "Why is Iris West black again?" I hate fandom sometimes. Why does it matter? Why does it matter?
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
Yeah, it
You want
doesn't. I was gonna say.
you want another white girl with red hair? You already have Lois Lane and you already have Mara. We don't need another one. Like, come on now. But yeah, so I was interested to see that. She actually was supposed to save her from a car accident, and it was really cool. The footage is on YouTube. You can look it up, but I don't know why they cut it out. I guess it wasn't integral to the story, so I'm like, whatever. But still, world building. I love that. World building. Okay, so I enjoyed Aquaman, Cyborg, and Flash. Even though their stuff was cut out, I thought they were really interesting characters, and I want to see what they do next. But Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman were botched in this movie. They were... I'm sorry, did I spell?
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was agreeing with you when I said yeah.
I guess. I'm sorry. Okay. They were destroyed in this movie. Wonder Woman... God damn it. Why is Wonder Woman worrying so much about Steve Trevor in this movie? Because she didn't worry about her in BBS, and it feels like it's detracting her character, because as much as people love Wonder Woman and they want to see a more consistent character with that, this is a different time. Wonder Woman is in a different mindset than how she was back in World War One. She should not be worrying about Steve Trevor so much. If you want to do some mentions here and there, that's fine. Like the mention where she's talking to Bruce in the cave and he's like, looking at the flying fox that Batman has, and she's like, "Oh, I know a pilot that would love to fly it." That's a nice little ad there. Or when she's talking to Cyborg on the street and it's like, "I've lost someone I loved once." Okay, that's fine, and that's it. That should have been the end of mentions of Steve Trevor. But they bring it up again and again, and it's making her character weak. And too vulnerable. It's okay to be vulnerable a little bit, but she just looked weak.
Also, that's also really frustrating for, like, women, because, like, when you think of Captain America, he doesn't bring up his ex-girlfriend who died, so often. Like, he brought it up, like, one time when, in Civil War, in the past few movies, because she died,
And when he kissed her niece.
Yeah, but, like, that was... But that was it. Like, the thing is that, like, why is it that that's happening with, like, guy heroes, but then with, like, female heroes, they're nonstop talking about their exes, or, know. Yeah, it's so frustrating. I want an independent character that, like, of course can be hurt by something that happened back in World War One, but it's also, 2018 in that movie?
2017.
2017?
Yeah.
So, my dog died 3 years ago. I'm not talking about him every day, but, like, I don't know. It's just an example. It happened way back in World War One, though. Is that, like, people I know who, their spouses passed away or something like that, of course it's tragic and heartbreaking and stuff like that, but you don't need to, especially in a film, you don't need to bring it up so often.
No.
And, like, I don't understand. So I completely agree with you. Like, I don't understand why a female character, you have an opportunity for an independent woman, and you're kind of breaking it down a little bit when you're bringing up this guy that influenced her so much. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can be influenced by a guy, of course, but, like,
It's
there's
too
a line,
much.
and you're
She's
crossing
acting
it.
like Steve Trevor's death happened yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, no.
It's too often if you...
And then she's at the tail end of jokes that Joss Whedon wrote like Flash landing on her boobs after an action sequence, and then her wearing this ridiculous ass seductive red robe when she's relocating Batman's arm. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
I didn't notice that part, but I noticed the other.
Why is she wearing that robe? Why the fuck is she wearing that? Where did she get that from?
Well, that's costume design's department.
I mean, I guess, but I know Zach didn't do that.
Well, what do you think about it, Tara? Are you bothered by it at all?
No.
The only thing I'm not
Why?
bothered by...
I didn't really notice it that much, honestly.
Oh, speaking of that, when we talk about the Amazons when Steppenwolf invaded, did you guys notice anything different about the Amazons?
Yup. Wait. Maybe.
They didn't know how to fight.
No? Did anything bother you?
No.
Like from how the way they dress, is there anything that bothered you?
I mean, let me tell you one thing about me, okay? I'm all for what? Calm down, Mike. It's fine. I'm all for like women power and everything like that, but I'm not as bothered or quickly bothered by certain things. You know what I mean?
Good. So SJWs, shut up, because the Amazons were wearing, some of them were wearing like midriffs, I guess. But you didn't even notice it, really. It's really just because Zach wanted to show off, because they had bodybuilders be Amazons, and they just want to show, look at these muscles, man. So it wasn't sexual in any way. But the SJWs were like, how dare they wear this stuff and the midriffs and whatever, blah, blah, blah. Exactly. So be quiet. Especially, they said behind the scenes that they liked what they were wearing, and they felt very powerful, and they were able to move better. So shut up. Anyway.
Right.
Just want to say that quick thing about that.
I mean, she didn't talk anything about Steve in Batman vs. Superman. I know she wasn't in it as often, but it's like...
Didn't talk about him that much.
Yeah, so I think she's very influenced.
So she got
or she's just a little bit too much, for my liking. I guess it's like... Obviously, I still love the character, and I'm not, like, going to murder anybody because, like, I'm so pissed off about this, but it's like... I am bothered by it, for sure. It's like... Come on, let's move on.
Right, she's basically saying, I can't live without him.
I can't live without him.
What? Right. It was in World War One.
No.
You have been living without him.
Right. Batman.
I'm rich.
Batman.
Good Batman.
Okay?
He's a good Batman.
Now, I'm Rich was actually a Zach shot, so if you didn't like that, that's what Zach did, so... but
he's a good Batman.
He is a good Batman, but he was not the Batman that I loved in Batman v Superman. He's watered down, he's silly, he's doing one-liners. I'm like, what the hell is this? And plus I can tell that certain stuff was reshot, because the reshots he looked puffier and not as good as in shape. Like his face looked kind of bigger, so I could tell when the reshoots were happening he wasn't fully in shape. And then you have stupid lines like, sorry guys, I didn't bring a sword, or like stupid lines like, yep, something's definitely bleeding, oh god. Or I know you didn't bring me back because you liked me. I don't. Not. Are you what in the world? What is this? Now I get that you're trying to make him a little bit more lighthearted because people didn't like how he was dark and brooding and killing people in Batman v Superman, so they wanted to make him a little bit more optimistic. That's fine, but I'm like, he was just silly in this movie, and then he's an asshole. Like, he's freaking taunting Wonder Woman with Steve Trevor and making her feel guilty and pleading her on to resurrect Superman, and it's just, that's not in his character.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, yeah, Bruce can be a dick, for sure, but he is not an asshole. And that just didn't make me like his character up until that point. And he's not even well lit either, because, like, Zack shot him really well in Batman v Superman. But in this movie, he looks cheap. Like, whenever he's in the daytime, he doesn't look good. But when he's at night and stuff, he looks a lot better. So, what's wrong with having superhero movies that take place at night? There's not a problem with that. It makes stuff look better. It makes the CGI look better when it's shot at night. But they're like, no, we have to brighten it up because the kids, and we need to be happy.
I thought you said superhero boobies for a second.
Superhero movies, like Flash landing in some superhero movies, Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Can we not say those two words together?
Which one?
You know the word.
Okay. All right, Steppenwolf.
Superhero and
Alright, let me get to Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf, I actually thought his introduction was really good when he was fighting the Amazons. I thought that was a really strong intro because he was just murking Amazons left and right. And they were trying their hardest to get the mother box away from them. They were doing everything they could, but right when they think they escaped, here comes Steppenwolf and just slaughters them. So I thought that was an awesome opening. But after that, he just went downhill. He's just a video game character with barely any development. And his design was not good. I mean, it's not Doomsday bad, but it's like you can tell they changed his design at the last minute because he wasn't supposed to look like that. He was supposed to look like this. He was supposed to be a lot more imposing and scary and more consistent to his design at the end of the ultimate cut of Batman v Superman. He looks completely different than how he was originally, because he was too scary. He was going to scare the kids, and we have to be more comic book accurate, so we got to change the design at the last minute. What? And now he looks like an old white dude with some devil horns. Like, what? He looks so bad. And then his development was literally cut out of this movie because Darkseid was supposed to be in this movie and his presence was supposed to be in here, but they cut everything Darkseid. He was supposed to be in the history lesson with the Amazons and the Atlanteans and the humans. He was supposed to be in the ending fight with Justice League, and he was supposed to be where when the Amazons warned Wonder Woman after Steppenwolf invaded. Wonder Woman was supposed to see hieroglyphics of Darkseid. So anything Darkseid was cut out this movie, and then you cut Steppenwolf's development in half because of that. Mm-hmm. Why do you want a run-of-the-mill villain? Why would you cut Darkseid out? That's the biggest DC villain in the universe, and it's not like he's a main factor. Steppenwolf is still the main villain, but to have his presence there gives more weight to Steppenwolf. And you just decided to do a by-the-numbers, like, video game villain. Now you get to Superman. That thing was not Superman. That was not Superman. That is not Zack Snyder's Superman. This is not the Superman that Henry Cavill brought to life in Man of Steel, breathed new life into in Batman v Superman. This is not Superman. This is an artificial product of what Superman is, because people were complaining how quote-unquote depressing he is in the previous films, so they decided to do a Christopher Reeve makeover on Superman, which doesn't mix well with the Superman you already established in the previous films. I feel no weight to his character, and I know some people out there are going to be like, but he was so depressing in the previous films, and in this movie he's actually colorful and smiles, and he feels
Captain
optimistic.
America if you want that so bad.
Exactly. Shut up. It's like those fans. I don't even feel I don't want to like put labels on people, but I just don't care right now. I feel those people complaining are not Superman fans. They are not DC fans. They are Batman fans trying to be hip, and they only look at the Christopher Reeve movies as what Superman is supposed to be. Christopher Reeve is dated. I'm sorry. I appreciated him in that time, but it does not work now. And now he looks stupid in this movie compared to the previous films. And then the thing I was looking forward to the most was him proposing to Lois, confirming the engagement. That was what I was excited for. Regardless of how you guys feel about Lois Lane, I bought the relationship between Lois and Clark on a romantic level. I'll take the reporter stuff, fuck it. The relationship stuff I was in on, and the moment I saw that engagement ring in Batman v Superman, I was so excited to see what they would do. And then in the last trailer, they were teasing that, where he was like, "I'll take that as a yes," and then Lois is like, "What?" And then he's like, "The ring." And I'm like, "Oh, I cannot wait! I'm gonna be choking up in that scene. I'm gonna have all the feels." But I felt nothing watching this movie because Superman scenes, 90% of them were reshot, and that one was botched to hell. What was so bad about proposing to Lois? What was so bad about that? Why did you have to cut that out? What was so bad about his scenes that you had to restructure 90% of his scenes?
Yeah.
And now we're just stuck with this reshoot mustache ridiculous stuff. The moment I saw the opening scene with that phone footage of him, I'm like, oh my god, what is this? What the fuck is this? I am so mad. I am so disappointed. Now, I bought the Blu-ray for this, and they had 2 extra scenes from Snyder's cut that they didn't even bother to incorporate back into the movie because they're that lazy. One of the scenes was him going to the Kryptonian ship and getting his suit, and the black suit was in the background. Oh, also, he was supposed to wear the black suit in the movie, but he doesn't. Why? But and then that scene where he goes to Alfred and he's like, he said you'd come. Now let's hope you're not too late. Literally, those 2 scenes, I felt more weight to Superman than him in the entire movie. That felt like Henry Cavill Superman. That felt like Zack Snyder's Superman. He only says a few words. And there was more weight to that than him just smiling and giving corny one-liners and whatever. That's not what I came to Superman for. I connected to Superman on such a deeper level with Zack's vision than the Christopher Reeve movies. And if people don't like that, I don't care. I don't give a shit. Go back and watch the Christopher Reeve movies. Leave this Superman alone. And I know the entire third act was reshot because it doesn't look good. It doesn't look well shot. I don't even know what happened in that end scene. It was botched to hell. I want a Snyder cut. Release the Snyder cut. I want Snyder's original vision to be re-released. And I know people are out there saying, but it doesn't exist. Yes, it does. Look at all the trailers and then look at this movie and you see 70% of that footage is not there. And then you have people behind the scenes and in the cast like Jason Momoa, Ray Fisher, Zack Snyder, and other people doing storyboards confirming that there is a different version of this movie. Yeah. So don't tell me that there's not a different version of this movie, because there is. Now, if you don't think it's going to be released, that's another story. But there is a vision. I don't want to watch this version ever again. And it's hard for me to move on with this different direction that they're doing with DC, knowing that I didn't get closure with this. If you want to go in a different direction, fine. But don't mess with this last film. Let it do what it does. Whether it fails or it succeeds, let it do what it do. And then go in your new direction, Aquaman, whatever. But don't touch this film when it's borderline finished already. And then you have to spend more money to reshoot it, and then you barely made even. Stupid. I don't want to talk about this mid-credit scene and the post-credit scene, and I'm done. Mid-credit scene is Superman and Flash racing just like they did in the comic books and the animated series. That was a nice little touch there, but I couldn't appreciate it because of Superman's yuck mouth. It was disgusting. And then the last shot, I think, was Zack's because it looks well shot. It's Lex and Deathstroke meeting together to form the Legion of Doom, which I thought was really cool. Now, fun fact, Lex was supposed to have more of a role in this movie. He was supposed to have some scenes with Steppenwolf that wasn't there, and then Deathstroke was supposed to break Lex Luthor out of jail, but we didn't see that. Now, I guess the Deathstroke stuff is not integral to the story, that's fine, but you cut out Lex Luthor and his development with Steppenwolf. You're a load of shit, Warner Brothers. You really are a load of shit. But that's my truncated feelings of how I feel about Justice League. I can go on another hour, but we don't have time for that. So I'm going to go to grades now. Overall, this is not the worst DC film I've ever seen. From a filmmaking standpoint, it is not the worst. But on an emotional standpoint, I hate this movie. It is terrible. They bought Zack's vision. It's just... It doesn't feel epic. It doesn't feel grand. You cut the world building in half. The characters don't feel consistent with the previous films. There's barely any weight because you want to be all fluffy and colorful and whimsical. Video game cutscene effects. I am so mad. It'd be hard for me to move on because I heard this is the last performance we'll possibly see of Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck. And if this is a lie, I hope it's a lie. But if this is the last thing we see him in, this is a terrible way to send him off. Horrible. So I'll give 2 grades for this one. From a filmmaking standpoint, it's a C+. Because it makes more coherent sense than Suicide Squad and the characters are more likable. But as an emotional, passionate fan, it's a D+.
Ooh.
Fuck this movie. Release the Snyder Cut. Shannon?
I want to go last.
Okay, fine. Outrageous.
C- overall. Well, to be honest, in between the D+ and C-, if it was a grade for that.
Alright.
Tara?
I was gonna say a C, close to a C-.
Oh, I guess I wasn't so far off. I would say C. It was just so confusing with Zach's cinematography, Joss's post, color correction, and additional scenes and editing. It was just, it didn't... Pre and post obviously had a hard time matching together.
I think my problem is Christopher Nolan is one of my favorite directors of all time. Not just the Batman movies, but like I love Inception and I love Dunkirk. So maybe that's why I'm so nostalgic about the other Batman characters being changed and stuff like that. But I don't
Dunkirk's
know.
amazing.
It's not right.
I hated Dunkirk.
What?
Yeah, I hated it.
Sorry, I just had to breathe a little bit. This would have been so much better.
This could have been just as good, if not better, than the first Avengers if they just let Zack do what he does.
Yeah.
But that's my truncated thoughts on Justice League. I can go on for hours. But that's our overall thoughts. What did you guys think about Justice League? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys think it was okay? Comment below, let me know. Don't forget to subscribe to Shannon Jeffrey and Outrageous Plays X. So next thing we're going to be doing is Aquaman. We're finally going to watch Aquaman, and then we'll give you a huge spoiler review coming into the new year. Thank you for hearing this huge rant. If you guys enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel if you want to be updated on future videos I'll be doing. Thank you as always, and I will see you guys in the next video / podcast. We'll talk to you guys later. Release the Snyder Cut!